down to their opponents, and I think they'll do well.
Yeah, they should come out of this part of their schedule smelling like a rose. I'd be really surprised if they didn't.
All fueled up and ready to go. Brought to you by Gatorade. Let's check out who's on the floor. On the court for San Antonio. Defensive-minded Green and Leonard are the wings. West out there with LaMarcus Aldridge. And it's Parker in at the point guard position.
You know, guys, in a draft that had a lot of top-tier big men as the top picks, Willie Cauley-Stein is a little bit the forgotten man, if you will. But he can be a very impactful player now and down the road as well.
Sacramento on defense. They put up a nice win against the Bucks the last time out.
And we've talked about how in the NBA you've got to earn your points the hard way. And that really wasn't the case in that game for them.
No, there was no hard way about it. I mean, they got their points easily on dunks and layups against a defense that really didn't offer much of a fight.
So the San Antonio Spurs able to put the first points up on the board. Leonard with the steal. And now it's Leonard running. Here we go all the way. And that one's good. Parker.
And that steal paid instant dividends.
No wasted time or motion getting out on that fast break.
Goes up from the top of the key. Out to the right wing. Here's Rondo. And the rejection by Leonard. And they say it was last touched by Leonard. Here's Bellinelli. He had an 18-point outing in the last game against Milwaukee. Second chance shot.
Still can't quite get anything to fall after 5 tries.
Great D that time from Green. Shoots from the line. And he overshot that one, missing.
You know what? You just cannot get much better of a look than that one.
Exactly. I mean, no way you expect him to miss that shot. And, you know, guys, Marco Bellinelli really hit his stride 2 seasons ago. He was way up across the board as a shooter and assist man. Even his rebounding had improved over his career averages. But then last year, he took a bit of a step back.
Talking about Bellinelli, he won the NBA three-point shootout back in 2014. Looked like he'd perfected his stroke. That gave him great confidence in every other part of his game.
And talent is one thing, but confidence truly does trump almost everything else. And he just didn't seem to have it last season. But he has that craftiness and high-level skill set to really bounce back this year and prove that he's the real deal.
Green kicks to Parker. Spurs passing it around. They grab their own miss.
And with room like that off the pick, you have got to knock that one down.
Well, you know, they did everything right, Greg. They executed. All you want is a good look at the basket. Sometimes the shots just don't fall.
Here's Parker after Rudy Gay's bucket. On the wing, Green. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Parker. Green's got his first bucket in this one. Rondo against Leonard. Rondo passes to Cauley-Stein. Good for the basket. Starting off 1 for 1 with that shot.
Really, the defense is helpless to stop a layup right there. Just too much of an advantage in terms of the mismatch.
Again, Leonard missing.
I tell you what, folks, I bet he won't miss that shot next time he takes it.
Now let's find out what head coach Greg Popovich had to say to Doris Burke. Doris?
Very specific approach laid out. He told me that they're going to concentrate on working the ball into the paint as much as possible today and taking advantage of what he believes is a significant edge for them on the interior. Guys?
All right, Doris, thank you very much. Parker drives in, and yep, finally drops after rolling around the rim. Parker's got his second bucket of the night.
The defender was spinning around like an agitator in the washing machine after that crossover.
I think you're right. Looks a little bit dizzy after that one.
Another miss by Rondo.
Not really his best quarter as far as scoring. Let's see if he can eventually get back on track.
And that one's good by Aldridge.
Boy, that was a thing of beauty by Parker.
Sacramento's gone 0 of 2 from deep here.
And the Spurs last season became the first franchise to hire a female assistant coach. A big step, not just for the Spurs, but really for all of the NBA.
And the stuff by West.
And guys got careless with the ball there, and the turnover leads to the big stuff.
Once he came up right with the steal, he went straight on the attack.
That's exactly the way to do it, too, Kevin. Go hard to the bucket and don't let them set up the defense.
Here's Rondo after the basket by San Antonio. And once again off the mark by Sacramento.
I think it's going to be tough for them to trim this deficit if he keeps missing those kinds of shots, Kevin. I mean, they need his points.
West outside. Green dishes to Aldridge. 5 on the clock, and it's Parker in the corner. Good, and Aldridge gets the assist. And it's 6 points for Tony Parker. Well, as Greg was just talking about, the assistant that was hired was Becky Hammond, a phenomenal player for a very long time in the WNBA. And Clark, you and I were talking about this before. She was a perfect candidate to become the first full-time female assistant.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it might not seem like that big a deal to some, but this was a big-time barrier breaker that the Spurs pulled off.
Here's what Sacramento's going with right now. Kuvas checked in for Cauley Stein. Quincy Hayes has come in for Rudy Gay. James Anderson, he's checked in for Marco Bellinelli. And it's Collison in for Rajon Rondo. And a breakdown here, guys. The hustle stats for San Antonio.
You know, they've done a great job of getting a hand up on shooters. Actually have gotten a lot of blocks as well, solidifying that defensive effort.
Yeah, and one thing, Clark, I've noticed is how quick their hands have been tonight. Thanks to that, they've gotten a lot of points off of turnover.
On the league since he's been in it, Darren Collison, I mean, he's played on 5 different teams in his first 6 seasons, and has been a contributor and an impact player on all of them.
The Kings trail by 5. There's the pass to Kufis. 3 for Caspi. Tries again, and it's blocked. Mills with it. He's coming off a 22-point game against Orlando.
And also give him credit for his ability to pass the basketball. He was always looking for the open man.
Stripped it away. There's a 4-second difference from the shot clock to the game clock. It's Ginobili on the wing. From the arc. And it's Sacramento with the rebound. Last time they faced off, it was right here at home where they couldn't get it done.
Yeah, they were just wrecked last time they faced this team, and a lot of it was their own undoing.
And you know, Greg, in that blowout loss that you were alluding to, it was the turnovers that really did them in. You can't give possessions away like that and expect to win.
San Antonio shooting their first free throws of this game.
And typically a strength of theirs, 79% on the season.
Yeah, in general, they've been very solid. I mean, free throw shooting isn't something they've had to worry about too much this season, guys.
And both free throws good for Anderson. And here's Collison. And that concludes the first quarter of play. It's the Spurs. They finish off the first quarter with a massive 16-7 run. And we'll be back in just a moment with the start of the second quarter. Tim Duncan closing out what's been a remarkable career, a Hall of Fame career. We heard from teammate Manu Ginobili about what Tim's meant to the San Antonio Spurs.
He really transformed the franchise. He's one of the best players ever. 4 championships, 2 MVPs, and if somebody deserves it, it's him.
Well, as Manu saying, Duncan, no doubt the long-term face of the Spurs franchise and arguably their best player ever, which brings up the conversation, Greg, of where he stands all-time league-wide.
Well, he's right there. And listen, let's give him a little more credit, Manu. He's got 5 rings now, you know, having won that championship 2 seasons ago. But look, Kobe's in that category with 5 rings and an MVP as well. So he's an all-time great. I don't know how you rank him, but when you have a conversation about the best ever, Tim Duncan will be in.
Welcome back, everyone. A lopsided first quarter in the books already as we start this second quarter. And before we move on, what do you guys think about what we've seen so far from the Spurs?
I just think that from an intensity standpoint, their defense has really been the key. It's been the catalyst as they've been able to disrupt their opponent's offense.
Absolutely. I mean, they've been much more intense defensively. And their defense not only has been intense, but it's been swarming and saran wrap-like.
Rudy Gay is out there with Quincy Ace. Then there's Kufis. Then there's James Anderson. And it's Collison in at the point guard. That's the 5 out there for the Kings.
Really hard to decide, guys, which was better. The pass, the catch, or the slam?
Clark, there's no wrong answer to that one, my friend. Sensational alley-oop all the way around.
Agreed.
And guys, you know what? You wouldn't know that they're the team that's actually trailing with how they were able to pull that play off.
That's tipped and out of bounds as the Spurs gain possession. Bellinelli, he's checked in for Sacramento. Rondo comes in for Darren Collison. And San Antonio with the change here, too. Parker's checked in for Patty Mills. Spurs leading by 7. Parker kicks to Leonard. Puts one up from 19. And he hits the jump shot.
It is so hard to contain him. He just seems to get it done however he has to do it.
And for Sacramento, they're shooting just 29% in this game. They are not a pretty sight out there offensively. Kawhi Leonard with another great season last year earned his first Defensive Player of the Year award with his outstanding play.
And for Leonard, he became the first perimeter player to win one since 2004. That just shows you how incredible his defense was at times.
West is checked in for San Antonio. Here's Rondo. Playing Milwaukee, he was nearly unstoppable. Steps back and fires. Rebounded.
And, you know, for Leonard, you can add that Defensive Player of the Year award to his hardware list, and that puts him in elite company, one of only 3 players to win Defensive Player of the Year and Finals MVP. The other 2, Jordan and Olajuwon.
And the defense just gets caught standing around that time and giving up the second chance opportunity.
You know, that just can't happen. They need much more effort than that on the glass.
Now here's Anderson. Outside Rondo. Back to Anderson from outside the arc. Rebound San Antonio. West has got his 3rd rebound on the night.
And for Leonard, winning the Defensive Player of the Year didn't change him at all. I mean, he received a car for winning that award and gave it to charity. Went out of his way to thank his teammates during his acceptance speech. I mean, I think it speaks of his character and really the impact that Popovich has had on him and that entire Spurs team.
Here's Gay following the basket by LaMarcus Aldridge. A nice shot by Anderson.
He might not have the long range ability of some other guys, but he will knock down open ones like that.
And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game. They come into this one having outplayed the Magic last game.
Yeah, ran away with that game, mainly in part because of their offense.
Yeah, the ball movement and player movement, so crisp and sharp, and it led to a lot of high-quality shots for them.
The Spurs making a switch here. Green's checked in. And we're now a little over 2.5 minutes into the second quarter.
Usually, if he gets to the rim, he's converting it into points. But the defense stood tall there.
Cauley-Stein kicks to Rondo. And another 3 for Sacramento.
Back-to-back threes for him. The defense is slacking off a little.
You've got to respect that 3, or she'll give up points in a hurry.
And that one's good. Parker.
And one thing that everybody loves about Coach Pop is his frankness. You get a taste of it in interviews, but he's as honest and straightforward with you as he is with anybody else.
Now here's Rondo. He has 5. Deep 2 from Anderson. And he didn't get quite enough under that one.
Well, I think the defense got lucky right there. I mean, he's going to make a lot. A lot more of those than he misses when he's got that much room.
Leonard, no luck. The Kings trail by 11. Down low, Parker with the steal. In transition, here comes San Antonio. Leonard's got the ball.
I think they need to get much more disruptive defensively. They can't just keep allowing these easy baskets.
That's got to be job number 1 right now. Nothing easy on the inside.
Right side, Rondo. To the paint. West with the steal. Here's Leonard. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there. Marco Bellinelli picks one up. For a long time in San Antonio, it's been about the big 3, and rightfully so with all their wins, and Kawhi Leonard seems to be their future.
And Kawhi and the big 3 recognize that and are trying to ease the transition period. And if you know the Spurs, they'll make a smooth transition, won't they, Kevin?
Absolutely. And the Kings will go for a different look here. Kufis checked in for Cauley Stein. Quincy Ace has come in for Rudy Gay. Caspi, he's checked in for Anderson. And it's Collison in for Bellinelli. San Antonio also making some changes. Boris Diaz checked in for West. Ginobili comes in for LaMarcus Aldridge. And it's Mills in for Tony Parker. Here's Leonard. Cranes it from 9 feet away. And it's going to be San Antonio off the tip. A look at the San Antonio Spurs opening lineup. Parker and Green are the guard pairing. West out there with LaMarcus Aldridge. And it's Leonard in at the 3 spot.
Boy, that was a thing of beauty by Parker.
So the San Antonio Spurs able to put the first points up on the board. Rudy Gay on the wing. Elbow shot is on the way. Here's Cauley Stein. West with the block. Here's Leonard. The shot is off. Now Sacramento takes it the other way. They put up a nice win against the Bucks the last time out.
They just weren't challenged. I mean, nearly as much as they should have been in that game, at least when they had the ball.
Yeah, it was a mismatch. I mean, the defense from the start was on its heels practically the entire game.
Now here's Parker. He's playing a pretty big role for him at the offensive end, averaging about 12.5 points a game. Well, the Spurs just don't go on losing streaks very often, Greg. One perk of being a talented veteran group.
Yeah, how about the Spurs lost 4 games in a row twice last year. Over the last decade before that, Kevin, they had only lost 4 games in a row twice. Unbelievable.
First shot, first basket. It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Greetings, NBA fans. Welcome to 2K Sports. I'm your host, Ernie Johnson, and seated beside me, Kenny the Jet Smith and the Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal. Tonight, we'll see the Toronto Raptors playing against the San Antonio Spurs. Well, for San Antonio, not really much of a surprise that about midway through the season, we find them near the top of the standings in second place. No drop-off from the performance we saw this team give last season. And as we reach the midway point, Kenny, still a lot of games left on the schedule. How do players cope with the wear and tear their bodies go through?
Well, a lot of times when you're mentally or physically tired, you know, you could sit there and all of a sudden you misquote things, you missay things. Here on the
Seems like we've been here before. Yes, it is Groundhog Day. And we welcome you to this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. Along with Greg Anthony and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. Only one game away from San Antonio here. The Spurs will be back home for the next one. Well, they're certainly excited about this one. And they'll be laying it all on the line as the intensity is palpable. Two top caliber teams facing off on the hardwood to do battle.
And you know, right now for San Antonio, they have caught the entire league off guard. This was not a position anyone thought they'd be in at this stage of the season.
And the credit belongs to them for what they did and didn't do during the offseason. I mean, they had a vision, they set it out, and they've stayed true to it.
And the starting group for the Spurs, Parker and Green are the guard pairing. West is out there with LaMarcus Aldridge, and it's Leonard in at the 3 spot. Offensive rebound, Green uses the glass to finish the layup. Green's got the opening bucket of the night here for San Antonio. DeRozan with it. He had a 24-point outing in their last game against the Nuggets in Denver.
And boy, did he have it going offensively. He lived at the line during that game as well, and that's where he got a lot of those points.
And guys, we saw a nice development for James Johnson last year. He was 59% from the floor. The closest he had ever come to that in his 6 years was 46%. What a dramatic Clark improvement there.
Yeah, and I think it was all due to shot selection. He dialed back on the number of threes that he was taking the year before, and his percentage went up.
Here's DeRozan following the score by Tony Parker. Shot clock at 6. Fires the 3. Shot's good. DeRozan's got his first 3 points of the game.
Yeah, poor job defensively, giving him such a clear look at the basket from three-point range. And back to James Johnson. Yeah, he improved his shooting percentage, but the rest of his game has been kind of in a holding pattern. He's averaging neither highs nor lows in any other category, and that means to me he may have flattened out in terms of reaching his potential.
Parker with it. Lowry picks him up. And Parker, here we go. And it's Parker again missing.
His touch has disappeared on him this quarter. He just hasn't been able to get it going.
Lowry against Parker. Johnson outside. From outside the arc. It's hauled in by Tony Parker.
Talking about James Johnson, the reality is he's a role player. Like most NBA guys, he certainly can be a valuable role player, especially if he can shoot near 60% from the field again. But don't expect him to suddenly become LeBron. That's not his game, nor his ceiling.
Raptors with the lead. On the wing, DeRozan. Good, and it's Johnson with the assist that time. 7 points for DeMar DeRozan. San Antonio's gone. Oh, they really want to find that igniter here.
Yeah, that's right. Kevin, the offense has basically been running in place.
They got to get going.
They really can't allow him too many open looks like that. I mean, that's just inviting trouble. Elevates and powers in the one hand.
Textbook.
Yeah, and I'm glad, guys, he doesn't go overboard on that one and get a little too fancy.
Leonard with no one around. And again, it's San Antonio with a 3.
I tell you what, guys, it's going to be a tough day on this defense if he's got the A game rolling tonight.
Lowry inside the line. Leonard against DeRozan. Back to Lowry. Green with the rebound. San Antonio's gone 2 of 4 from beyond the arc to start the game. Can't get it to go. And Toronto will go the other way with it. They're moving on after the tough loss they took at the hands of the Nuggets.
Yeah, not a very inspired performance for them, particularly when they were defending. They just gave that hostile crowd plenty to cheer for.
Yeah, they allowed a lot of free runs to the hoop, a lot of open jump shots, and in the end, the opponent's shooting percentage was through the roof. You can't win if your defense isn't better than that.
And count it. 2 points with a chance for one more at the free throw line. It's going to be Johnson shooting. That's on LaMarcus Aldridge. A new group in now for the Raptors. Biombo is checked in for Jonas Valanciunas. Patterson comes in for Luis Scola. Terrence Ross is checked in for DeMar DeRozan. And it's Joseph in for Kyle Lowry. And for Manu Ginobili last season, not his best. Down in every measurable category since his rookie year. He's 37, myriad of injuries. You know, but Greg, there's still something so special about that play.
Yeah, I mean, so much of his game is about movement. And Kevin, after 13 full seasons and factor in all of the international competition, you're going to have to start to show some wear and tear, and that's been the case for Manu.
Excellent point. He played 4 pro years overseas before the NBA. Now, here's Joseph. He's averaging just around 8.5 points a game. And a fast break now for the Spurs. Here's Mills, and the basket good.
Really aggressive play there, taking it to the rack against the big fella.
You know, Greg, aggressiveness is really the only option when you're on the wrong side of the size equation.
Here is Ross. He had a 12-point outing in their last game against Denver.
Not the biggest fan of that shot, but he had the space to get it off, so why not?
Now here's Mills. It's Anderson with the drive. Right wing. Mills with it. Guarded now by Patrick Patterson. And again, it's San Antonio with a 3.
The lead changes hands once more. There has been no separation between these two teams.
You know, it's made for one heck of an entertaining game. Even when it hasn't been the best basketball being played, it sure has been fun to watch. Rebounding is going to be the focal point for them in this one, fellas. I can feel it.
No, it always is, and it has been so far, and they've gotten a nice edge on the glass. And guys, every time we think Patty Mills is going to take the next step in his development, he takes a step back. Last season, he shot career lows from the field and behind the arc after having one of his best ever campaigns the year before. That really just makes a coach pull his hair out, and fortunately for me, I don't have it.
Now here's Joseph. Quiet so far offensively, searching for his first points of the game. 6 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Ginobili kicks to Anderson. Here's Marjanovic. Cannot hit. Raptors trail by 5. On the wing, Johnson. Inside. Off to a good start as he hits his first shot attempt.
Another nice bucket down low. They've really been able to work the ball into the post effectively so far.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see them operating a lot of their offense from the interior today.
What a pass by the fearless Manu Ginobili. Great teamwork.
Ross for 3. He got it up in time, but it wouldn't fall for him. And they're scoring pretty well as we conclude the first quarter. Spurs lead by 6. And we'll get things started in the second quarter when we return. And we had the chance to catch up with Greg Popovich, and he talked about how he felt Tony Parker ranks among the league's best point guards. Pop breaking it down and telling it like it is as usual, Clark. You got to love having a guy like that as your coach.
Without question. I mean, you have no idea how huge that is for a player to get that kind of support and backing from his coach. Is Tony Parker a great all-star and champion? In my book, absolutely without question. But would he have reached that level without Greg Popovich as his coach? I think even Tony would tell you, probably not.
And the first quarter is in the books. Second about ready to get underway. And what do you guys think so far about the offensive approach for the Spurs?
Well, I'll tell you what, they must have had a good shoot-around because they've been fantastic from long range so far, fellas.
And also another aspect of their game that's been super so far tonight is how they've been sharing the basketball.
DeRozan at the 2 with Ross playing the 3. Patrick Patterson is out there with Bismack Biyombo. And it's Joseph in at the 1. So that's the 5 in the game for Toronto. The Spurs have looked good at the line tonight. They're perfect in 4 attempts. First free throw is good. Kyle Lowry, he's checked in for Ross. LaMarcus Aldridge is checked in for San Antonio. Parker comes in for Patty Mills. And so he makes both from the line. Raptors trail by 8.
And it's just hard to imagine the Spurs without Coach Popovich on the sidelines. He's the longest tenured coach in the NBA and has done so much for this team. Easily one of the best coaches in the history of our league.
Now here's Parker following the miss by Kyle Lowry. And there's a whistle that goes on Corey Joseph. That is his first foul of the game. Here's what Toronto's going with right now. Valanciunas is checked in for Bismack Biyombo. And it's Luis Scola in for Patterson. And San Antonio also making a switch. West is checked in. And Greg, you know, for Popovich being with the Spurs for so long, since 1996, Clark, he is actually the longest.
Evan, and he's done it through winning. I mean, the 3rd fastest coach ever to get to 1,000 wins. You compare his numbers with any coach in any sport, and they stack up as Hall of Fame caliber.
Here in the second quarter with a little over a minute gone. Now here's Joseph. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him. 4 on the shot clock. The Raptors need to get a shot off. No good from Valanciunas.
With the success they've had rebounding the basketball, they're right where you'd expect them to be. Firmly in control of this game.
And no doubt about it, rebounding is an effort stat, folks. They've been more determined than their opponent thus far. And Tony Parker, at least some of his success can be attributed to playing with talented bigs. I mean, in his rookie season, he plays with both the Admiral and Tim Duncan. He kept that partnership going with Duncan for several more championships. So while talented, he's also been very fortunate.
Here's Lowry. Kawhi Leonard making his last shot. Outside Lowry. It's good. He scores. That's his first basket after missing his first 2 attempts. Now 1 for 3. Well, talking about Parker and the bigs, Tony benefited from their presence, Clark, but they also benefited from his play.
Really, early in their careers, the only way to defend Parker and Duncan was to pack the lane, and once Tony developed a consistent jump shot, the only way to defend them was to hope and pray.
Right.
Yeah, but the hand in the face, it's critical that you contest his shots every time down the floor.
Scola, no luck. Spurs leading by 10. Here's Simmons. He's been patient so far. Nothing yet on the scoreboard. And Joseph kicks the line. And it's sent back by Aldridge. It's stolen by Lowry. Here's DeRozan. And the dunk to finish it off. A beauty.
Wow, the floor just really opened up for him on that possession.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for good offense, but that was just a terrible reaction from the defense.
Another gap in the defense found there, and they've really had their number today.
Lowry against Parker. Parker with the steal. And there's the call on Kyle Lowry. That's his first foul.
And now only 1 away from being in the penalty.
Yep, the next one puts them on the line, so they've got to be careful the rest of the way.
James Johnson checked in for Joseph. And the rejection by Valanciunas. And even 3-on-3 break. And finished off by DeRozan.
Threw it down with authority.
Oh, he can really fly. And you combine that, Clark, with some of the nice penetration, too. And you've got an easy 2 points.
And able to just play well above the rim. I mean, that makes this guy so dangerous when he's in the game.
And he gets it to go. Parker's got his second bucket.
And guys, when you watch the Spurs play, it's like watching poetry in motion. I mean, every cut, every screen comes at a precise time, and they play beyond the sum of their talents because of that style.
Here's Valanciunas following the score by Tony Parker. There's 1:47 left to play here in the second quarter. Ginobili with the ball. Now Valanciunas defending. They double-team Ginobili. Just 5 on the clock. Here's West. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Parker. Parker's got 5 assists tonight. Spurs do have a beautiful play style, and their offensive numbers show it, Greg. You're right there. One of the most fluid teams I can recall, Clark, in the NBA with their ball movement.
A joy to watch. I mean, they ended up top 5 in shooting percentage last year, as well as top 5 in assists.
Toronto calls timeout.
And for David West last season, the thought was he might increase his production with Paul George out, but the opposite happened. West suffered his lowest scoring output in a decade, only 12 points per game on 47% shooting. Rough showing for the former All-Star.
Catching up on the changes for Toronto. Biombo, he's checked in for Jonas Valanciunas. Patterson comes in for Luis Scola. And it's Ross in for DeMar DeRozan. Here's Marjanovic after the made shot from Kyle Lowry. Ross with the steal. Lowry kicks to Johnson. Goes up high for the two-handed dunk.
Quick hands on the steal and then just mad hops on the slam.
Great sequence for them defensively and Clark offensively.
Well, one usually leads to the other, Kevin. That's just good, aggressive, attacking basketball at both ends.
Well, Greg, getting back to West, even though his scoring was down, his playmaking was up. You were talking about that. Clark, 3.5 assists a game last season, by far the highest number of his career.
Yeah, one of the very best pros I've ever been around. He's very smart. He's tough. He's all about team. And, you know, he makes things happen. Impacts winning in a lot of ways, and those assist totals indicate that.
And they continue to control the glass.
Guys, I think they've simply been the more physical team, and that's why they're ahead.
And Green gets it to go.
And they've got to talk to each other on D there. Miscommunication, and now he's able to make them pay.
Some nice ball movement here by the Raptors. Lowry, Green with the block.
You know, he just hasn't looked right to me. A bit out of sorts, if you will. Something's off with his mechanics, at least as I look at it.
Patterson passes to Biombo. And here is Ross. And released it in time, but it's off the mark. So we've reached the end of the first half of play. It's San Antonio leading by 9. And now let's catch up with Doris Burke, who's standing by on the sideline. Doris?
Well, Coach Casey, obviously you'll be starting the second half with your work cut out for you. What do you need to see?
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello again, everybody. Ernie Johnson here, joined by Shaquille O'Neal. It's San Antonio out on top at halftime. They lead by 9 points. And that's going to do it for now, as the second half is just about ready to get started. We'll see you later.
And the second half about to start here in just a few moments. A fantastic game from DeMar DeRozan so far.
Yeah, he was in attack mode from the word go. Came out very aggressively in that first half.
Take a look at his shot chart. It looks like the ink spilled right at the rim. No reason for him to settle for anything less.
Here's who Greg Popovich is starting in the second half. The always reliable Parker and Green in the backcourt. Kawhi Leonard is out there with LaMarcus Aldridge. And it's West in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. Now Parker, after LaMarcus Aldridge's three-pointer that didn't go.
Hey, I like creativity and a circus finish as much as anybody. But you better be sure you got a chance to make it.
It's good, and the San Antonio lead is cut down now to just 7 on the basket from DeRozan. San Antonio's gotten 2/3 of their three-pointers to fall tonight. They're 6 of 9 overall. To the inside. And the rejection by Valanciunas. Shots good from West. The Raptors shooting at a decent 44% clip here. Feeds to Scola. West with the block. And it goes out of bounds. That went off West. Joseph, he's checked in for Toronto.
In for your reference, Corey Joseph.
Second half of basketball, just over a minute played so far. And it's DeRozan missing.
Those are chances almost always you can rely on him to get you 2 points, but the D just enough to keep him out of rhythm.
Now here's West. He has 6. Picked by West. And Kawhi Leonard with the slam. And the Spurs lead by 11.
A one-man show offensively, and that's almost always good news for his team. Listen, Kawhi Leonard hasn't been in the league for a long time, but he's feeling right at home. Said last season he wants to remain a Spur for life.
Now here's Joseph. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him. The 10-footer. And he gets it to go.
Well, we've seen that movie a few times, haven't we? An easy bucket in the
flips at the defensive end. I mean, especially inside. They've really got to pick up that interior defense.
And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game. They come into this one having outplayed the Magic last game.
And how about the game plan that was constructed for that one? I mean, it was apparent how powerless the D was to stop it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I mean, they just didn't have an answer for anything they threw at them.
Let's find out what Doris Burke has for us.
Thanks, guys. I was able to hear Greg Popovich coaching his team during that last break. He made it clear that their offense needed to run through Leonard. Their offense is most effective, Coach said, when he is most involved. And they're looking for total involvement from him for the rest of this game. Those could prove to be crucial changes to their strategy with this game getting ready to enter the stretch drive, Kevin.
All right, Doris, thanks. And Green gets it to go.
They've given up a lot of three-pointers here today.
And their defensive rotations have been non-existent.
A little under 2.5 minutes gone by here in the third. Joseph dishes to Johnson. He kicks it to Joseph. That's good, and Johnson with the assist. Joseph's got 5 points so far.
Back at you. I mean, they immediately get those 3 points back.
Trading spray guns from long range. Trading blows from behind the arc. No matter what they've tried, the D just has not been able to deny them the ball in the paint.
And it's a big key thus far in this game, Clark, because whenever they've gotten the ball in the paint, good things have happened.
Outside, Green. And it's San Antonio with another.
He has created some terrific opportunities for himself and really made... the most of it.
To the paint. And it's Valanciunas finishing it off.
And he just leaves the D in the dust and explodes to the basket.
You're right. Clark, maybe a momentum changer right there, huh?
It could be, Kevin. I mean, a dunk like that can sometimes get an opponent reeling. Boy, that was a thing of beauty by Parker.
It's DeRozan with the drive. Great D that time from Leonard.
You've got to give them a lot of credit for the job they've done on the backboards.
They've done a lot of things well today, but really it's about what they've done on the backboard that's at the top of that list. You love the closeout on that possession.
Excellent defense, active, and he made it a very tough shot for him.
San Antonio leading by 13. And foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. They get Luis Scola.
What a game we've seen here for Green. He's got 10 points, and he's done a little bit of work behind the arc. He's got a pair of 3-pointers.
And you know what? The defenders have that in the back of their minds now. They'll be on him a little tighter.
He's getting his first free throw attempt of the night right now.
Yeah, he's averaging 80% from the line, and he has been as steady as they come at the stripe.
I think it's been a struggle for him at the line. He's been scuffling this season. I mean, he's pretty well below the percentage that he shot a season ago, and not quite sure why.
Catching up on the changes for Toronto. Biyombo is checked in for Jonas Valanciunas. Patterson comes in for Luis Scola. Ross is checked in for Johnson. And it's Lowry in for DeMar DeRozan. Both free throws good from Green. Raptors trail by 15. And it's Lowry penetrating. And there's the call on Kyle Lowry. That'll be his second foul of the game. Kyle Anderson, he's checked in for the Spurs. Mark, one thing about Kyle Lowry, he has a bulldog mentality. We saw that from his days at Villanova.
No question about that, and I love that about him. He's very simple, not really flashy, just consistently beats the rock. He wears his opponents down.
Here's Mills, kicks it out to Ginobili.
They've not had the same success from outside here in the second half that they did in the first. So it might make sense to look at going inside a little more this half.
Goes up to the stripe. Patterson can't get it to go.
And talking about Lowry, going to Toronto was a godsend for him. I mean, he had clashed with a number of coaches early in his career. His hard-headedness had been working against him. But in Toronto, he learned how to buy into a system and save the wrath for his opponent.
And for Lowry, he's been on fire the past couple of seasons. He's shown toughness, leadership, and the instinct to make winning plays on the court at both ends.
Raptors trail by 17. 1:14 left in the third quarter. Puts it up from 12. That's good. Lowry's got 6.
And really smart to draw his man out to the perimeter. He's giving up too much size to be effective inside.
Showed nice basketball IQ. I agree, Greg. I mean, if he finds his spot on the perimeter and doesn't force it, I think his outside shot will be hard to block no matter who's defending it.
Here's Joseph. That falls. Nice feed that time from Kyle Lowry. Lowry's got his 5th assist in this one. Now here's Mills. Lowry covering. Now Mills. 9 points in the game so far, and the shot is good.
I mean, if you're looking to get back into this game, you have to get tougher defensively.
The Raptors have gone a solid 6 of 11 when shooting here in the third quarter. Lowry kicks to Patterson. Misses the 3.
+8 in the rebound differential. One more reason why they're in control.
Yeah, double-digit advantage on the scoreboard. They've taken the initiative. They've played, I think, with more purpose so far.
Here's Lowry, and there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. For Toronto, they have started out 0 of 1 from the line, missing their only other attempt earlier.
And typically a strength of theirs, 79% on the season.
Yeah, guys, they can feel very good about themselves when you bring up those statistics. Impressive numbers.
Ginobili outside, the alley-oop, and the quarter ends with some stifling defense right there. And here at the end of the third quarter, it's a double-digit ball game. Spurs lead by 15. And we're coming right back after this break to get the fourth quarter underway. And thanks again for joining us. Let's see what happens here in the fourth. Raptors trail by 15. The star pair of Lowry and DeRozan are the guards. Scola out there with Johnson. And it's Valanciunas in at the 5 spot. That's the 5 out there for the Raptors. San Antonio's gone 7 of 11 from deep tonight, using the three-pointer to their advantage. And that's out of bounds. San Antonio will retain possession. And out of bounds as Toronto gains possession.
Raptors ball.
The Raptors shooting 43% for the game. And DeRozan kicks to Lowry. No good off the front iron.
It's not winning basketball when you're attempting shots like that.
Yeah, come on now. You got to remember it's a team game. He's got 4 teammates out there with him. I don't think he needs to try to do it all by himself like that.
Here's Johnson. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here. And some stats here, guys. The scoring breakdown for the Spurs.
Boy, their passing has been picturesque, a thing of beauty in both halves. More than a few of their baskets have come off assists.
Yeah, and another thing, they've created a lot of turnovers, but they've also been able to convert when they've gotten out in transition.
Spurs leading by 15. To the middle. And finished off by Leonard.
He always knows where his teammate's going to be, and, Kevin, that will let him put the ball where he wants it, right waiting for him.
Now, here's Lowry. Just over a minute played here in the fourth. Ball's knocked loose, and it's out of bounds. Last touch by Aldridge.
Risky pass in a situation like that. Very lucky that wasn't a steal.
Fortunate to get it through. I thought he was headed the other way with that one.
DeRozan with it. From deep three-point range.
The defense better watch out. They better be alert because this guy can make threes, as we saw in the first half.
Parker passes to Leonard. And it's good on the assist by Parker. 17 points for Leonard.
Watch out. Now that he's got his first 3 of the half, there might be more in store.
Another shot. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
That's his first personal foul. Shooting for Toronto.
The first free throw is good.
And for Louis Scola, a very different role for him over the last 2 years. I mean, he was a starter for most of his career, then signed with Indiana, who had David West at the 4. Off the bench, though, Scola still played efficiently, but he was just used to putting up much bigger numbers for other teams.
Greg, you were talking about Scola. He has the physical skills, Clark, to make a difference.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, he's not spectacular in anything, but he's really solid in just about everything. A pro's pro, and he adds value, tremendous value to any team he's on.
And now they decide to foul intentionally.
Yeah, not sure. What that was about. I mean, talk about a brain cramp.
Yeah, yeah, completely a brain fade. I don't know where that came from. Just lost sense of time and the situation.
And that one's good. Parker.
Not his best game, but they're still getting it done collectively.
Lowry. And again, Toronto, no luck.
He's been anything but his usual self this quarter. It's actually been ugly to see.
Parker with it. Lowry picks him up. Here's Leonard. Takes a big height bounce and goes in. Leonard's got 9 points now in just the second half. Lowry. And again, Toronto, no luck.
No other way to put it. Just a rough quarter in terms of scoring. He has not been helping at all.
Green dishes to Aldridge. And again, it's San Antonio with a 3.
And they seem to have gotten something out of almost every possession. Their defense has been just as good, just a tremendous performance all the way around.
Yeah, and they're doing it in hostile territory, too. I mean, don't forget about that part of it, which makes it even more impressive.
They've shown some strength in the paint today. Their work on the boards has been impressive.
Guys, that's putting it mildly. I mean, they've been absolutely dominant.
Now Valanciunas following the miss by Kyle Lowry from deep.
He operates well in traffic, but still, that's just a tough play to finish.
Leonard on the wing. Plenty of space. Another miss by Leonard.
Yeah, great look, but disappointing with the miss.
Boy, what?
How did he hit that shot?
I don't believe what I just saw right there, Cam.
And it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it. A new group in now for the Raptors. Nogueira, he's checked in for Jonas Valanciunas. Bennett comes in for Luis Scola. Powell, he's checked in for Johnson. And it's Wright in for Kyle Lowry. Wright against Anderson. Leonard kicks to Simmons. There's the pick. He feeds it to Butler. Shot clock at 5. And Leonard gets it to go. Leonard's got 9 points in the quarter.
And he is really in a zone right now, playing and scoring with confidence. Now, I'm not even going to comment on that one.
Neither am I. I mean, if you're going to attempt a buzzer beater, I guess I will comment. Make sure there's actually a buzzer to beat.
Fouling like that isn't how you get back in the game.
Looked to me like just a frustration foul. It really kind of sums up the game.
Now, Biyombo is checked in for Nogueira. Patterson comes in for Bennett, and it's Ross in for DeMar DeRozan. Here's Wright. Boris Diaw picking up that last basket.
And how many extra possessions have they gotten because of that rebounding edge?
Well, it's been a bunch, and I think it's made the difference in the game. I mean, they've actually done a great job on the board.
And San Antonio has possession. The Raptors getting the bucket. Here's Marjanovic. Takes the assist and lays it in. Picked out the pass nicely.
The shooting percentage continues to elevate here in the second half.
Well, as a group, they've been harmonic since the break. In sync. Good team basketball resulting in high-quality shots.
And as we head to the final buzzer here, a crushing blowout. Big-time dominance, and this will go in the record books as a gaudy win for San Antonio.
Clark, the bench, gave him a big lift in this game.
Yeah, you always like to see that, Kevin, when your reserves can perform and help you pull out a win.
And this will make it 31 victories for them on the year.
And there's no victory sweeter than beating somebody who's last beaten you. Tonight, they'll even things up 1-1 in their 3-game season series against the Raptors.
A good win, and a lot went into it, but I just like the showing for Parker. He affected the game so much with the way he was able to come out and get steals and extra possessions for his team.
Over to the wing. Here's Marjanovic. Banked in off the glass.
This is a serious game-clinching run they're on.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just not backing off here. I mean, they're looking to close this one out in style. What a time to have this kind of surge.
And so it's San Antonio with it. They've allowed just 7 points here in the fourth quarter.
So far in the game for Mills, he has 11 points, and the assist numbers tremendous.
His court vision is on par with anybody. I mean, he could not pass the ball any better than he is right now.
You know, Dwayne Casey was once a player at Kentucky, took me and hosted me on my recruiting visit at Kentucky back in 1979. Actually got his coaching start at the school as well.
And really no better feeling than to go on the road and play this well and get the win.
Yeah, it's always a good win when you play the kind of game they have played tonight. I mean, especially, though, when you get it done on the road. That's a special, special feeling there.
And the basket by Diaw.
And the big lead becomes bigger. They are playing with purpose here tonight, guys.
And they're doing it at both ends of the floor. I mean, that's what you like to see. They've been controlling the action from both ends of the court.
Now here's Mills. He's guarded closely. And an intentional foul right there.
That's his second personal foul. Shooting.
Free throw good. Mills.
Taking 2 shots.
And both free throws good for Mills. Now here's Wright. And so it's San Antonio easily taking this one. This one was over well.